Hey everyone, welcome back to Retirement Clarity. I am Lenny, and if you are new here, this is the channel where we have honest, straight-talking conversations about money, retirement, and everything that matters to your financial life after 60. No complicated jargon, no hidden agenda, no Wall Street spin, just real information for real people who have worked hard their entire lives and deserve to know the truth about protecting and growing what they have built. And today, I want to talk about something that I know is on a lot of your minds right now, because I see it in the comments every single week, I hear it from people in my own community, and honestly, it is something I think about myself when I look at the financial landscape of 2026 and ask the question that every senior is asking right now. Can a small investment, and I mean genuinely small, not life-changing money, not money that would affect your security in any way, can a small investment in XRP actually change your retirement outlook, not save your retirement, not transform everything, but genuinely change the outlook, change the trajectory, add a meaningful dimension to a retirement picture that might otherwise feel like it is just slowly, quietly losing ground to inflation year after year? That is the question I want to answer today, and I want to answer it completely honestly and with the upside and the downside both on the table, because that is what retirement clarity is about. Before we go anywhere, my standard reminder, and I mean this every time, nothing in this video is personal financial advice. I am not a licensed financial advisor. I am someone who researches deeply, cares about this community, and shares what I find. Please always consult a qualified financial advisor before making any investment decisions. Your situation is personal and unique and deserves personalized guidance. Now let us get into it. I want to start today by asking you to do something a little different. I want you to close your eyes for a moment, just briefly, and think about your retirement picture right now. Not the ideal version, not the version you hoped for 20 years ago, but the real picture as it exists today. Your savings, your monthly income from Social Security or pension, your expenses, the gap, if there is one, between what you have and what you need. The anxiety, if you feel it, about whether what you have built is going to be enough for the years ahead. I ask you to do this not to make you feel worried, but because I think honest financial conversations have to start from a real place. And the real place for a lot of American seniors in 2026 is this. The traditional tools of retirement security are under pressure in ways they have not been before. Savings accounts are not keeping up with inflation. Bond yields are modest. Social Security, while valuable, is not designed to be a complete retirement income on its own. And the stock market, while historically strong over long periods, is increasingly volatile and increasingly concentrated in a small number of technology companies that do not necessarily reflect the broader economic reality that most seniors live in. In this environment, where the traditional playbook is under pressure and the old rules are being rewritten, the question of whether a small, carefully placed investment in a new kind of asset could meaningfully change your retirement outlook is not a reckless question. It is a smart question. It is exactly the kind of question that a financially aware, forward-thinking senior should be asking in 2026. So let me answer it directly. Can a small XRP investment change your retirement outlook? My honest answer is yes, it genuinely can. But the word change does not mean what most people assume it means when they first click on a video like this. Change does not mean dramatic. Change does not mean overnight. Change does not mean you are going to put in a few $1,000s and wake up rich. What I mean by change is something more subtle and in many ways more meaningful than that. A small, well-placed XRP investment can change your retirement outlook by giving you exposure to an asset with genuine asymmetric upside potential, meaning the possible gain is significantly larger than the possible loss in terms of real-world impact on your life. It can change your outlook by adding a growth dimension to a portfolio that might otherwise be entirely defensive. And perhaps most powerfully, it can change your outlook psychologically by giving you a stake in the future of a technology that is genuinely reshaping global finance, rather than feeling like you are standing on the sidelines watching the world change without you. That last point matters more than most financial advisors acknowledge, and I want to come back to it later in this video. But first, let me make sure everyone watching today understands what XRP actually is. Because I never want to assume that everyone has the same background knowledge and the foundation matters. XRP is a digital currency created by a company called Ripple. Ripple built a payment network designed to solve a very specific, very real problem in global banking, the problem of international money transfers that are slow, expensive, and inefficient. When a bank in America wants to send money to a bank in Europe or Asia, that process currently takes days and costs significant fees. Ripple's network, using XRP, can do the same transfer in seconds for a fraction of a penny, and major financial institutions around the world are already using this technology. That gives XRP something that most cryptocurrencies do not have: a real job, real utility, real adoption by real institutions in the real financial world. It is not purely speculative. It has a function. And that function, the facilitation of fast, cheap global money movement, is only going to become more important as the world becomes more financially interconnected. Now, here is why 2026 specifically is a moment worth paying attention to for XRP and seniors. Several developments have happened in the past 12 months that have fundamentally changed the accessibility and the legitimacy of XRP as an investment for people in our age group. The first and most practically important is the arrival of spot XRP ETFs in the United States. 7 of these products are now trading, with combined assets exceeding $1 billion. What an ETF means for you practically is this: you do not need to understand cryptocurrency technology, you do not need a digital wallet, you do not need to remember complicated passwords or worry about losing access to your funds. You simply buy an XRP ETF through your existing brokerage account, Fidelity, Schwab, TD Ameritrade, wherever you already invest, the same way you would buy stock in any company. The technological barrier that kept most seniors away from crypto has been removed. That is a genuinely significant development that did not exist 2 years ago. The second major development is regulatory. The Department of Labor proposed a rule in March 2026 that would allow 401k retirement plans to include cryptocurrency assets for the first time. There is $10.1 trillion sitting in American 401k accounts. Even a small regulatory opening for crypto in that universe represents an enormous potential shift in institutional demand for assets like XRP. The state of Indiana has already passed legislation requiring state retirement plans to offer crypto investment options by 2027. The regulatory wind is clearly blowing toward greater access and greater legitimacy for digital assets in retirement accounts, and that trend, once it starts, tends to accelerate rather than reverse. Now let me get specific about what a small XRP investment actually looks like in practice, because I think the numbers are important and I want to make them real for you. Let us say you have a retirement portfolio of $300,000. That is a reasonably common number for American seniors who have saved consistently throughout their working lives. A 2% allocation to XRP from that portfolio is $6,000. A 3% allocation is $9,000. These are numbers that, in the context of a $300,000 portfolio, are meaningful but not catastrophic. If XRP went to zero tomorrow, which would be an extreme outcome but which I am not going to pretend is impossible, you would lose $6,000 or $9,000. That is painful. Nobody enjoys losing money of any amount. But it does not end your retirement. It does not take your home. It does not eliminate your security. Your $291,000 or $294,000 in other assets remains completely intact. Now, let us look at the other side of that equation. XRP has historically shown the capacity for very large price appreciation during periods of favorable regulatory and institutional development, exactly the kind of environment that is developing right now in 2026. If XRP were to multiply 3 times from current levels, a scenario that serious analysts consider plausible given the regulatory and institutional tailwinds, that $6,000 becomes $18,000. A $12,000 gain from a 2% portfolio allocation. If it multiplied 5 times, again, not guaranteed, but within the range of scenarios that analysts are discussing, that $6,000 becomes $30,000, a $24,000 gain. Against a $300,000 retirement portfolio, that is a meaningful number. That is the kind of number that changes what retirement looks like. that funds a year of travel you did not think you could afford, that covers medical expenses without touching your core savings, that gives you a financial cushion that changes how you feel about the years ahead. That is what I mean when I say a small XRP investment can change your retirement outlook. And this brings me to the concept of asymmetric opportunity, which I believe is one of the most important and most underutilized concepts in retirement investing for seniors. Asymmetric opportunity means a situation where the potential upside and the potential downside are not equal in terms of the real-world impact on your life. Most investment decisions seniors make are relatively symmetric. You might gain a modest amount or lose a modest amount, and the experience on both sides feels roughly similar. But a small position in an asset like XRP, in this particular moment, has a genuinely asymmetric profile. The downside, losing a 2 or 3% allocation, is uncomfortable but survivable and does not materially change your retirement security. The upside, that same small allocation growing substantially during a period of favorable regulatory and institutional development, could add a meaningful dimension to your retirement that changes what is possible. Finding genuine asymmetric opportunity at this stage of life is rare. When it appears, backed by real technology, real institutional adoption, real regulatory progress, it deserves serious consideration. Now, I have to talk about the risks, because I would never be doing my job on retirement clarity if I only gave you the upside story. XRP is volatile. Its price moves dramatically and sometimes very quickly. It is currently down more than 60% from its peak in 2025. Earlier in its history, it dropped 96% from an all-time high. These are real numbers that represent real losses that real people experienced. Volatility is not a minor footnote in the XRP story. It is a central feature of the asset class. And for seniors specifically, there are two dimensions of that risk that matter beyond just the financial. The first is timeline. Unlike a 35-year-old who can wait 10 or 15 years for a volatile asset to recover from a downturn, a senior's investment timeline is shorter, and the ability to wait out a multi-year bear market in any specific asset is more limited. The second is emotional. And I want to be honest about this because I think it is underappreciated. Watching an investment drop 30 or 40%, even a small one, is emotionally difficult regardless of your financial sophistication. If checking the price of your XRP position every day would cause you genuine anxiety, would disrupt your sleep, would make you feel sick when the market moves against you, then the financial case for a small position does not matter because the cost to your well-being is too high. Your peace of mind in retirement is genuinely valuable, and no investment return is worth sacrificing it. So, how do you think about whether a small XRP investment is right for you specifically? I want to give you a framework that I think is genuinely useful. First, is your foundation solid? Before any consideration of XRP, you need a diversified core of assets that covers your essential needs. Stable investments, cash reserves covering 6 to 12 months of expenses, income sources that cover your regular living costs. If that foundation is not fully in place, XRP is not the next step. The foundation is, second, do you have genuinely discretionary money? The money that goes into XRP should be money that if it disappeared entirely tomorrow, your life would not change in any material way. Be rigorously honest with yourself about whether that money exists in your situation. Third, can you emotionally handle volatility? Be honest about your emotional relationship with watching investments fluctuate. If the answer is no, that is a completely valid and mature answer, and XRP is simply not right for you. Fourth, are you working with a financial advisor? Before making any move, have the specific conversation about whether a small XRP ETF allocation makes sense given your complete financial picture. That conversation is free, and it is the right next step. Fifth, are you using regulated vehicles? XRP ETFs through a brokerage you already trust, nothing else. Any platform you do not recognize, anyone who contacts you about XRP investments, any promise of guaranteed returns. Those are red flags, and you walk away immediately. I want to close today with the psychological dimension that I mentioned at the beginning because I think it is genuinely important and not discussed enough. One of the things that I hear from seniors who feel most anxious about their retirement is a sense of being left behind, a sense that the world is changing economically and financially in ways that they cannot access or participate in, a sense that the growth and the opportunity of the new financial era is happening somewhere else, for other people, for younger people, and that all they can do is watch and hope their existing savings hold out. A small, thoughtful, informed position in XRP, even if it never grows dramatically, even if it just holds its value, can change that feeling. It connects you to the future of finance. It gives you a stake in a technology that is genuinely reshaping how money moves around the world. It makes you a participant rather than a bystander. And that feeling of agency, of engagement, of being someone who looked at the new landscape and made a deliberate, informed decision to participate in it on your own terms, that feeling is worth something. It is part of what changes your retirement outlook, not just the numbers, the story you tell yourself about where you stand and what is possible. I am Lenny, and I genuinely care about every single one of you in this community. The question of whether a small XRP investment can change your retirement outlook is not a simple yes or no. It is a question that deserves a real answer based on your real situation, your real finances, and your real emotional relationship with risk. What I can tell you is that the opportunity is real. The infrastructure to access it safely has never been better, and the regulatory environment has never been more favorable. Whether it is right for you is a conversation worth having, with yourself, with your financial advisor, and with the people who matter most in your life. Take that conversation seriously, bring your full picture to it, and make whatever decision you make from a place of knowledge rather than fear or hype. Please hit that like button if today's video gave you something valuable to think about. Subscribe to Retirement Clarity and hit the bell so you never miss a new video. Share this with someone in your life who is navigating retirement in 2026 and asking the same questions you are asking. And drop your thoughts in the comments below. Are you considering XRP? Have you already added it? Are you skeptical? All of it is welcome here. I am Lenny. Take good care of yourselves, and I will see you in the very next one.